can't we all just get along? Oftentimes, the answer is no, especially when you're managing a company. Eric Bryan, you are the owner of one of the top-ranked air conditioning companies in Arizona, also a Marine.
Right.
So what is the difference? Tell us the difference between managing a group versus an individual.
Well, there's a lot of distinctive differences in that. Managing groups of people, I tell my management team this all the time. The most influential guy in your department is not the manager of the department. It's the go-to, the lead technician. There's always one person inside that all the other technicians talk to, right? On the phone all day long, right? He's the most influential guy. And what you've got to do when managing groups of people like that is aside from being fair, logical, and consistent with everybody, but you need to be able to identify the people within your organization that are natural-born leaders. Even in every department, you have somebody within that department that's the natural leader of that department. Those are the people that you want to get close to you and affect in a positive way, so that when all that internal talking is going on behind the scenes, that's your advocate.
Right.
That's the guy advising everybody that, hey, what we're doing here is good to go. The direction is good to go. And that's how you start to gain a bunch of support from people.
That liaison can really change the game, because he's kind of like your insider. He's like your secret keeper, but he's also going to tell you.
And on the other side of that, they can also be the most detrimental thing to your business as well. That old analogy of pulling the weeds out of your garden, right? If the most influential guy that you have in one of the departments is also a guy that is unhappy, he's always complaining, he's bucking the system, he's a constant problem, you can rest assured that if you don't take care of that one problem, you're going to have multiple more. So as much as getting close with somebody like that so that they can positively affect the group, I'll also pluck somebody like that out of the company in a heartbeat as well if they're negatively affecting the group.
How important is that one-on-one evaluation?
Very important. The old saying a long time ago that I used to hear, which I thought was completely ridiculous, is that kids want to be disciplined. They want to be disciplined. And I would always think, I don't enjoy that at all when I'm getting disciplined, right?
But
really at the end of the day, they want direction.
Yes.
They want to know what their boundaries are, right? Because they can thrive in there, right? And it's the same thing with individual employees. I think a lot of companies don't take the time to sit down on either a monthly basis or a quarterly basis or even just an annual basis and help each individual employee with whatever specific difficulties that they're having as it relates to the business. So sitting down and doing those evaluations and constantly giving your employees the guardrails, so to speak, of where they can perform and not, is something that's extremely unmeasured. And it's very effective. We do it regularly.
I like that. Kind of keeping you right here. Stay in your lane.
Well, it's like with your kids, right? When they get a little bit older, I always tell people, your kids are very impressionable from about age 4 to about age 10. Right. After 10, 12, they're going to be who they're going to be, right?
You don't have them on a rein by then.
Yeah, and so at that point, you're really just trying to keep them from going off the guardrail, right? So just keeping them without, and the same thing with employees. So giving individual employees guidelines and constructive criticism is crucial for their overall success.
And I know in your company you hold a meeting every single week. How important is that weekly meeting in flushing out the internal issues?
The weekly staff meeting is by far the most important meeting that we have any time of the year, and we have that weekly. And the reason for that is a chance for me to sit down with all 13 of the managers in my department and get feedback from any issues or challenges that they've experienced during the week and flush out potential issues, right? And here's the other thing that kind of maybe goes back to leading your team to grow, is giving your employees a voice, and at that meeting, my employees, my management team more specifically, knows that they have a voice, We may take whatever issues up, whatever conflict or whatever, problem areas up on the table for discussion. And I will simply ask my team, how do you think we should handle this? And primarily, the reason why I do that is because I want to get some different input. I may already have a predetermined solution in my head, but multiple times I will look over and say, I like that, I did better, or that's a much better approach, or it's more simplistic, or it's more direct, more efficient, whatever the case may be. So making sure that everybody at the table has a voice. It's not just a dictatorship. It's not just me coming up with all the right answers. There's a book out there called Personality Plus. I read that when I was 22 years old. It changed my life. You know what I mean? Understanding the different personality traits that people have and how you have to talk to different people in different ways to get the same communicative result with them, right? So you can't treat everybody the same, right? So educating my staff on how to individually talk to people so that they can be successful has been instrumental as well.
All right. Thanks, Eric.